Ever since the Epic Game Store was released, they've been doing a special where they've been giving out games for free. I think the frequency of this has changed over time. In the beginning, I think it was like 1 game a month and then it turned into 1 game a week. Now they're giving away 2 games a week. They're doing this so you can build a library that's comparable to your Steam account, in numbers at least. I've always believed that quantity is less important than quality. So even if you have 1,000 games, but if only like 5 of them are fun, what's the point, you know? So I was looking through my library and I wasn't able to get every game from every week, but I got a good number. Some of the games I've already played, some I've heard of but never tried, but the vast majority of games fit into the category of... what is this? Those games being Transistor, World of Goo, City of Brass, G-Nog, Hyper Light Drifter, Moonlighter... Hold on. Who the fuck came up with the title Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden? What the fuck? My point is that these games were not even on my radar. I wanted to try something that I've never tried before, so I pulled up one that looked interesting to me. That game was The Last Day of June. I saw the first 7 seconds of the trailer in the launcher and was like, oh shit, a horror game. Last Day of June is a strange name for a horror game, but I guess it looks cool enough. Pause the trailer, went to download it, only took like 1 minute to download, so I was like, okay, cool, let's get into it. Let me read the synopsis for you. Join Carl and June on what begins as a magical outing to their favorite spot and try to unlock the sequence of events that could save the day and June's life. In this cinematic experience that will compel you to ask yourself, what would I do to save the one I love? So, not a horror game. Okay, listen. Before you judge me, the first thing shown is a kid almost getting ran over. Then, it's a character with sunken eyes waking up from a nightmare or something. What about that doesn't say horror game? Nothing! That's a horror game! What? Why is this a love story? Since we're already speaking of the love story, let's talk about the story in this game. Like the synopsis says, you start the game out on a little dock on the lake. Nice, chill, everything is peachy. Then it starts to rain, and you both decide, hey, let's get out of here. Probably not the best time to be out right now in a dress. You motherfucker. Thanks for bringing me out here. Then it goes to a flashback where it shows them earlier in the day just sitting around. An older man gives the girl a gift and it turns out it's for you. She wanders around the house trying to find a place to put it to surprise you and decides, hey, maybe you guys should go out to that dock and she could give it to you there. Boom, setup. Also, she's got a case of the Praggers, a little bun in the oven, a broom in the shroom, a suit in the hat, a tip in a jar, a slice in... Then you wake up to the sound of gunshots. Again, how is this not a horror game? Anyways, you're looking for your girlfriend when all of a sudden the girl enters your house and she's like...
Thanks, Carl, for letting me borrow your wrench. Maybe someday you could come over and show me how to use it. Maybe you could come over and fix my pipes for me. Maybe you could come over and bend me over and fuck.
You find your wife upstairs and you guys go to the dock. Flash forward to the current time, you were in a car crash, now you're paralyzed and your girlfriend is dead. Sad. So from this point, you discover that you can change the past via paintings and you can control the people in your town via these paintings. It's a fresh concept because it turns from being about the couple to being about the townspeople. Switches over to the day-to-day lives of each member of the community and you get to see how this little village runs in this little slice of life. Start with Timmy. I don't know if that's his actual name, but if you're a kid in a game or movie, your name is automatically Timmy. I don't want to go too in depth with each character because honestly there's not much to dissect. Each character pretty much has a goal and they want to achieve it. Timmy wants to play with someone. Gunboy wants to kill a bird because it stole something from him. I can't see where you coming. Homewrecker she also wants to play with someone, if you know what I mean. But she wants to finish packing her stuff because she's moving out. The older man is just kind of there. If we dive a little bit into the gameplay, there are a few clues and collectibles in the game where it goes more in depth into the stories of each member of the community. It's nothing groundbreaking or exciting. They're pretty much stories you've heard before, but it helps to add a little more personality into everyone in the game. I think that's a sentiment that follows the entire game. It's very predictable, and it's things that you've heard and seen a million times before. However, I think it's crucial to distinguish predictability from execution. It's essential to focus on the animation because the characters cannot speak. They make this mumbling noise that is more intended to demonstrate an emotion rather than actual words. So a lot of their personalities come from the way they walk and the way they react to things. The animators did a fantastic job here. There was never a time where I was confused. You could feel the emotions coming from each character and you do end up feeling for them. The scoring helps to accentuate everything that's going on screen. If something terrible happens, boom, dark piano sounds. The music fits incredibly well with the aesthetic of the game. Like you've been saying, it's this cartoony paintbrush kind of design, and the character designs themselves lean into that. The only criticism I would have is that the whole sunken eyes are unnerving. It took a good while before I could look at them and not think, what the fuck is going on with those eyes? Near the end, I did start to get used to them, but still, what was that choice? As an aside, I wanted to talk a little bit more about my favorite game of 2017. It is relevant, just chill, okay? Calm the fuck down. My two favorite games of 2017 were Horizon Zero Dawn and Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Hellblade, by the way, did a review on as well. Check it out, top right hand corner. Horizon had and still has some of the best gameplay I've ever experienced. The music was also adequate. The story and acting and everything else was either up to par or a little subpar.
You're lucky I happened by. One heartbeat more, and that sawtooth would have torn you apart.
Half a heartbeat more and I would have killed it myself.
Besides the graphics, those were excellent as well. In stark contrast to that, Hellblade had one of the best stories in any game. The acting was amazing. It had an incredibly rich backstory because it based it in actual Norse and Celtic mythology.
There was a Northman called Grettir. Big, red-haired, immensely strong. But he was afraid of the dark. It happened one night.
The music, oh my god, great. The gameplay was dog shit. It's the worst. I don't want to play that game again. It was so boring. There were times where it was okay. Most of the time, it was like trudging through mud. However, these two games were still my favorite games for entirely different reasons. The more astute among you might have already guessed what I'm going to bring up. The gameplay in The Last Day of June is so bad. I don't mean clunky, everything works as it's intended it to work, but they didn't design it to be good. There is way too much repetition in this game to the point where it's frustrating. The game is this puzzle game where each character has a unique ability. The abilities are all easy to grasp concepts, and the puzzle aspects of the game are way too easy to the point where it's a little insulting. There was a point in the game where you have to play through different characters to unlock certain portions of the map. That's not a horrible concept for a mission, but once you've entered this section of the map, you can see the interactable objects that you have to manipulate with another character and instantly know what you have to do. You might say to me, hey, maybe it's a little elementary, but that doesn't mean it's repetitive. Shut the fuck up. I didn't get to the repetitive part yet. Fuck. The repetition comes in when you have to switch characters. To change roles, you have to complete their side story. It's not that big of a deal the first time you play through their story because it's the first time you're seeing it, right? But what about the 5th time? Watching the same cutscene? What about the 10th time? The 20th time, the 100th time. It probably wasn't near 100, but it felt like it because you have to watch the same cutscene over and over. The game developers tried to alleviate this a little bit by condensing the beginning cutscene whenever you re-enter a character's side story, but even with this condensed version, it still takes so fucking long. And there is no possible way to avoid this repetition. Even if you know the correct answer, the game still makes you complete the side story incorrectly for you to proceed. If it was a case of, hey, I messed up, I have to go back and do this because I made a mistake, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. Maybe a slight problem, but not as big as it is now. I will say near the end of the game, there was this point, I can't talk about it because it's a spoiler, but it was there where the repetition kind of enhanced the game. The only issue was that it was still too much repetition for the payoff to be worth it. It's like when you're making a dish, right? A little bit of salt adds so much. It brings out the flavor. You know, like, is that chicken I taste? Oh, yup. It is, but the game devs didn't put a little bit of salt. They dumped the whole fucking case of salt into the game. And now I'm dehydrated and salty and I'm gonna have a heart attack. Fuck, it just wasn't worth it. I should have gotten the salad instead. In conclusion, it's a sweet little story, however predictable it may be. As a game, no. I think it would have been better suited to be a short film or something along those lines. There's not enough there to justify the repetition and shallow character building, even if the game only took like 4 hours to beat. Rating 3 out of 10. It's not the worst thing in the world, but neither is stepping in dog shit. Doesn't mean I want to do it. Oh, hey. I have to take out my headset or else it's gonna mess me up. I just want to say thank you to Full Playthrough for providing the footage for the gameplay of the game. Because if you check in the beginning, there's like a little okay, bye.